If you saw part 1 of this video, you'll know exactly why we had to split it into 2, but if you haven't, I'll catch you up. Due to the sheer amount of skipped content, rather than creating one video that was really long and monotonous, we went ahead and split it into 2. With that, this video will focus on Jinwoo's progress through the Demon Castle and his eventual confrontation with the Demon Monarch. But please do not skip out on the previous video. It has a lot of details that you'll find super interesting, and I'll leave a link in the description and the pinned comment and whatnot, so go ahead and check that out. For now, let's focus on Jinwoo's progress. Episode 8, Looking Up, was tiring me out. With the end of episode 7, we saw Jinwoo taking on the boss of the demon entourage that attacked his squad. Just like in the anime, it will go very quickly with her surrendering. Interestingly enough, the manhwa made sure to include the fact that there are a few demons that actually speak human language and not whatever the hell Barca was speaking. At any rate, he spares her life only for her to try and kill him once more, but then he is saved by Tusk, which Jinwoo seems to have predicted. And then she lets him know that she can get him the floor permits and where all the others are hidden. In which case, he would use his murderous intent on her to let her know that he's very serious about killing her if she slips. And then he has this really cool idea that maybe he can interrogate her to get more information than Barca provided. It would be really interesting in her answers, as first he asks who she is, and he quickly finds out that she is Esil of the Red Ear clan. Now, I might pronounce her name Esil or Esil, so pardon me for that if I'm pronouncing it completely wrong. Anyways, realizing that he must be asking the wrong questions, he gets right down to the meat of the matter and asks her if she hears a voice in her head. The conversation would pretty much follow the same as in the anime. However, things play out slightly different in the manhwa when she wakes up. She wakes up to find a horde of demon corpses near her. Apparently, they tried to attack her in her sleep and Jinwoo slayed them all. It's then that Esil drops an interesting fact, stating that unintelligent demons don't consider the intelligent ones as the same type as they, so they attack. At any rate, they head off to the Demon Castle to get the permit from Dracula himself. But unlike in the anime where she was carried by Tusk, in the manhwa, she pretty much walked. And then she would introduce her dad to her daddy, in which case he would panic as he notices the shadows in his shadow, in which case they would all get on guard. Things would play out a little bit differently in the manhwa here. Before Jinwoo gets the permit, he would solicit the talents of Esil, in which case her father would get jealous of him touching her. But then Jinwoo gets invited to dinner where he would explain himself in needing her as more of a guide, while promising to keep her safe. Now I find this very interesting that he's eating food here. He doesn't know what it is, and what do demons eat anyways? And is it me or do they seem to cook? These demons seem more like humans than demons to me, and I have so many more questions. After that, he gets the permit and gets to leave. The anime skipped out on this part, but when Esil joins Jinwoo, they form a party, which also means he shares his battle experience with her. Something interesting to note here that the horse that Esil was riding wasn't a demon. It was a regular magical beast, but joining a party with Jinwoo forces her to walk as she can't use the magical circle when having such a beast. At any rate, this is where they finally head off on their adventure. During their adventure, they would stumble across a castle owned by the noble demon clan Garsh, in which case she would begin to remove some gifts from her bag. These noble clans have been at war for a really long time, and since they're so weak, it would be better to appease them with gifts rather than going all out. But this is Jinwoo, so he walks off into the castle and massacres every last demon he could find, and then burns the castle to the ground like Daenerys would. It was during this particular attack where he leveled up to level 87, along with Egress and Tank reaching their max level for their rank, in which case Jinwoo would have to authorize them to level up to S and A rank respectively. As you can see in the manhwa, it was a much bigger spectacle than it was portrayed in the anime, showing swirling pools of darkness as they rank up. It is at this stage that Esil lets him know that the upcoming demons are much more powerful than what he's faced so far. So then he asks her if he was weaker than her, would she even bother talking to him? A bit of detail that wasn't highlighted in the anime was that up to this stage, Jinwoo had eliminated 9 other demon families. Jinwoo sets off to the 90th floor and he would encounter even stronger beings. He takes them all out, bringing him to level 90 by the time he's at floor 97. During this, he eliminates the Ricardo and Pathos clans, which is 5th and 4th rank respectively. Now, this is where Esil would ask him if there's other humans that are as strong as him, in which case he would say President Go and Hunter Cha are stronger than most S ranks, though he's probably stronger than all of them by now. Now, over a few level ups, Jinwoo has been putting some effort into to improving his own intelligence, which helps him with his mana, though is little more than negligible since his shadows are dying over and over and regenerating so quickly, it really sucks his mana. On top of that, it's really hard to pin down how much this all uses when it comes on to this, as different shadows, when they're revived, uses different amounts of mana. For instance, the higher the rank of the shadow, the more mana it consumes to regenerate. Then he would think that, hey, it's getting a little too dangerous for her, so he thinks that it would be a good time to cut her loose, in which case she protests and says she wants to see what he achieves. So they continue together to floor 98. Now, interestingly enough, these scenes afterwards are anime exclusive, showing Jinwoo's progress through the 90th floors until he gets to the 100th floor, in which case Jinwoo would be level 93. The manhwa pretty much only gave us one panel, so I'll still consider it as anime exclusive, or should I say extended? Yeah, whatever, you know. Anyways, this place would seem empty until Jinwoo senses something ominous, in which case the Demon Monarch Baran would show himself, along with his wyvern, Kaiselin. Jinwoo would be questioning if he could extract its shadow, since it's not a demon like Esil's horse. In the anime, he would seem like he would have attacked them first and then showed his immense power before summoning a horde of troops. But the anime didn't expound on this skill in particular. This skill is called Army of Hell, and he summons troops of different levels. Sound familiar? There are 3 distinct types: soldiers, knights, and general. This is where Jinwoo would speculate that the knights and generals may be A rank or higher before they start attacking. In the anime, it would seem like these guys were all the same rank when the notifications went off, but trust me, there are stronger ones. This is where he activates his monarch's domain instantly, but in the manhwa, he waited a little bit until the horde was closer, allowing him not only to buff his troops, but to wipe out a considerable number of the horde. I don't think the anime showed this, but there were demons that were summoned of different sizes, and some can fly as well. But Jinwoo's shadows, especially Tank, Tusk, and Egress, make short work of them, along with Jinwoo himself, of course. And it seems that Tusk may have picked up a skill called Song of Inferno. Maybe he had it all along. I don't remember. That was what, an episode ago? 2 episodes ago? God damn. That's like 2 years in anime. Come on. The Demon Monarch uses a wide range lightning attack, which wipes out all of Jinwoo's shadows. It almost hit Esil, but as you know, Jinwoo has an immunity to debuffs, and his gear grants him elemental resistance as well, which helps protect her, in which case Jinwoo activates multiple skills to close the gap on the Demon Monarch. Funny enough, the skills that he used wasn't showcased in the manhwa, so I'm so happy the anime actually did something for once. He uses stealth and dash, but it gets blocked. This Demon Monarch guy is no pushover. When Jinwoo gets thrown to the ground and then gets blasted, in the manhwa, Tusk seemingly instinctually countered and used the same blast to cast the Demon Monarch to the ground. In the anime, Jinwoo would call for both Tusk and Egress, Tusk using his dragon fire to block and distract the demon, while Jinwoo uses Egress's sword to cut the dragon's head clean off, grounding the demon. And it's here that the real shit happens. In the manhwa, we get treated to 2 pages of info dump, and I wanted to break it all down before the real shit begins. Jinwoo has a few skills that don't consume mana, like Ruler's Hand and Shadow Storage. He can physically manipulate objects without touching them, but it's all based on how much the object weighs, while Shadow Storage simply stores his shadow. If they get destroyed or he loses all his mana, they simply return to his shadow. However, when they regenerate or revive, that's when he loses mana. Now, this explanation was to show how broken the Demon Monarch is, as he is still summoning soldiers on the field and still using field wipe moves, some terrible AoE shots, without seeming to have lost a single drop of mana. This monstrosity is still going strong and headed right for Jinwoo and his troops. At any rate, Baran starts putting in some work and taking on Jinwoo's personal guards, and they all get clobbered. Damn. This fight goes pretty much the same way for both mediums, the anime and manhwa. Baran slowly but surely wears down Jinwoo and fights him. As he was about to die, he is saved by a momentary distraction by Esil. Now, in this part where he rips the Demon King's arms off, yes, I called him the Demon King, I saw some people saying that he had some points that he invested into his strength stat right now. In this current fight, that's why he was able to rip the Demon King's arms off. But I don't believe that's exactly what happened. If you think about it, before Jinwoo got his job change quest, he was actually already investing all of his extra points into mostly assassin type stats like speed and strength, mainly strength. But all those points don't just disappear. As his strength stat got stronger and he kept growing in level, remember, those stats keep going up by 1 even if he doesn't invest any points in them. But since he got his job change quest, he's been investing more into his intelligence to increase his mana and his mana abilities. So this strength is all him, and when it's combined with his ruler's hand, he was able to twist and pull the Demon King's arms right off, especially now that, you know, they were chopped earlier. Now, the anime added an extra part where the demon's head would literally explode when Jinwoo punched it. I saw many people saying that, oh, Jinwoo must be stronger than Goku now with all of this strength and whatnot, and he had a nuclear punch and all of these crazy ludicrous statements. In the fight, the Demon Monarch was going to fire off one of his epic beams before Esil distracted him. That epic beam didn't go anywhere, it was still in his mouth. So when Jinwoo punched him, the beam pretty much backfired, shattering his head and then nuking the sky. So calm down, people. I know you want Jinwoo to be the GOAT, and he is the GOAT, but he's not that kind of GOAT. Well, maybe he is. At any rate, that ends the episode. And yeah, I know I focused a lot on the events of the manhwa, but in my defense, there were so much differences that I simply had to. At any rate, this episode is a freaking 10 out of 10. I don't know how Solo Leveling keeps doing it, but they keep getting better and better. Like, hats off to Yoshihiro Kano. What an amazing animator. But as per usual, let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. My name's been Kyle. Peace out. Stay safe out there, V Nation. Bye.